Alright, so as expected, Grant released a response video very similar to Micah's first response video, but there was a lot that wasn't said here by Grant, and there's a lot we need to break down. Really quick before we get into it, I do this full time on another channel about a completely different sport, but like, this is what I do. So if you guys enjoy this and you want to see more about this in the golf world, hit that subscribe button for me, and I know you guys want to see more, and I'll make more about other things in the golf world. So again, very similar to Micah's first video, which he has actually since removed from his channel. I don't know if you guys realize that, but I went to look back to screenshot it and I couldn't find it. But anyways, very similar to Micah's first video. This is like a 3 to 4 minute video where he starts off by being very transparent, just saying because of legal reasons I can't talk about much. But really right off the bat, the tonality of this video and kind of how Grant is coming across, like, I just feel bad for the guy, man. Like, I really genuinely feel bad for him, and it feels like he was blindsided. Like, it was very evident that, like, I don't think he knew this video from Good was coming, because he posted on his Instagram like an hour, just a normal video of him hitting a golf shot, but an hour before, and he had Good in his bio, and then Good released the podcast on Saturday, and then all of a sudden Grant just went silent until we heard this video. So I do feel bad for the guy, you know. I don't know if he was aware that this is how it was going to be communicated, if the timing was aligned, if he knew that this was when it was going to be announced. Like, maybe he wanted some more time to process it. I don't know. Obviously that's all just speculation, but I think his tonality and his mood in this video, like, you feel bad for the guy for sure. One of the first things Grant mentions is he doesn't like how the story has been spun, and he doesn't say specifically whether that means like that what the guy said in the podcast or just like other people talking about it. But I think what he's referring to, at least personally I think, is that the idea of him, you know, going into Good, getting his clout, getting his channel built up, and then piecing out once he had that basically established name in the space. Because I also genuinely don't feel like this is true, and I think if Grant kind of heard that narrative around, it would be upsetting, and that's obviously probably part of the thing that's upsetting him about this. One of the biggest things from the Good video was when, you know, they talked about offering Grant the kitchen sink and the biggest contract in YouTube golf history, and Grant talks about this in his video specifically, and he says that he was offered that, but he was unwilling to compromise certain values just for the money. That blew my mind. That was like one of the statements of this video. I was like, what is he talking about? Like, I don't know. Again, that could be, you know, I don't want to be taking things completely out of context here, and obviously grain of salt with all this. This is just my interpretation of these things, but that sounds like there's got to be something else going on here. Like, it looked in the background leading up to, you know, this video. Nobody knew Grant was leaving Good. Everyone was surprised, right? We all knew it was happening with Micah because he slowly came out of the content. He was making his own videos that were like, what? Grant, no sign of it. Him and Garrett had just done that tour down California. They had all the content coming out from that. Obviously, Grant had been part of every Good week and all the content leading up to this, and it was just very stark. So it really makes you wonder what was happening in the background of all this, because from the outside looking in, it looked peachy keen. It looked perfectly fine. But when Grant's saying that there's certain things he's unwilling to compromise on just for the money, for the biggest offer in YouTube golf history, it's like, what could that be? Like I said in my last video, it's like, as a YouTuber, it's like when you have something that's symbiotically growing you, like he has Good, which is a golf channel that he was an integral part of. And as Good grew, which is over 1 million subscribers now, obviously by default, his subsidiary channel is going to grow as well. So why would you sever that arm? Why would you take yourself out of that situation when it's just helping you? And the guys referenced in the podcast that Grant himself had said to them that, you know, they weren't getting in the way of him making his own channel content. So his departure in and of itself initially made no sense. But this kind of callback to like, I wouldn't or there are certain values I'm unwilling to compromise even for all that money. What are you talking about? That's something we're definitely going to have to figure out. I don't want to make guesses as to what that is, but if that ever comes out, maybe after all this legal stuff like Grant talked about, that will be interesting to hear. He mentioned that his decision was also not influenced by any outside parties, but one of the other big things I want to touch on here that he brought up was the whole loyalty comments. He didn't specifically call out Bubby, but obviously Bubby was the one talking about it in the Good thing. And, you know, I don't think Bubby was necessarily trying to like crap on Grant directly, but he was just coming from his perspective of like, listen, everything I have has been built from Good, and I owe you guys everything, and my loyalty to you guys would never allow me to leave. It would never allow me to go away from you guys and break away and do anything else. And it sounds like from Grant's response to that he may have taken that a little personally, and, you know, he kind of defended himself, saying like he had built up for years all the channels within Good. He had Good Labs, which was basically his, all the stuff he did through Good, and he was really loyal to the brand. And so I think he took that whole loyalty comment from Bubby as like maybe a little personal, and definitely something that kind of rubbed him the wrong way. Finally, at the end, he mentioned that he'll be moving back to Florida and obviously pumping out as much content on his channel as possible, which are two things that are very expected. But overall, again, this video was very similar to Micah's first video. It was a lot of like not saying a lot of actual words, but I think based off his tonality, based off his mood, based off just everything, like obviously he's upset about the situation. That's not a surprise, but just it really does feel like it was a bit of a blindside potentially the way it was announced. It definitely feels like there's some things under the service that we don't know of and that haven't come to light yet. And I think whatever time he addresses this next, when all this legal stuff is gone, there's gonna be a lot of eye-opening moments and probably a lot of things we didn't see coming. Subscribe for more.